When the world is just too much, turn it off and turn on positive, encouraging K-Love.
I'm gonna praise.
World off. K-Love on.
K-Love is sunshine for my soul.
I love K-Love.
Listen now on your radio, online, or on the free K-Love app.
K-Love makes me feel so good.
Positive, encouraging K-Love.
Well, hi, everyone, and welcome to Alzheimer's Speaks Radio. I'm your host, Lori LeBay, and I'm so excited that you're joining us today. We are going to have a fascinating conversation, as usual, as we learn from people all around the world at all ages and stages of life. Stay tuned as we shift our dementia care from crisis to comfort. Here we go.
What you think about, you will bring about the mental change. We will.
Welcome to Alzheimer's Speaks. I'm thrilled you can join us today. We're going to have a really interesting conversation. We are going to be talking with the founder of Crayon Cards, which supports memory, identity, and connection through every stage of dementia just by, coloring and coloring pictures that are part of your own history. And so I can't wait to share this all with you. But before I introduce you to our guest, I always like to encourage people to visit alzheimerspeaks.com and go to our free educational resource section, as well as visiting dementiamap.com. And then, of course, I always give a shout out to my webmasters, Q for Good. They are fabulous, they are affordable, and they know what the heck they're doing, and they meet their deadlines. So, with no further ado, let's go ahead and meet our guest. Well, Joe, I am so excited to have you on the show with us. I think what you have designed is so cool. I've kind of given our audience a little teaser about it, but I'm going to have you introduce yourself, if you don't mind, to our audience.
Sure. Well, thank you, Lori, and I really appreciate you bringing me on the show, and I'm honored to be one of your guests. Thank you very much.
Well, you're more than welcome.
Yeah, just a little bit about me. I've been in the printing business for most of my life, and Crayon Cards was actually born 20 years ago, the story of Crayon Cards. But before I tell you the story of Crayon Cards, I really want to just tell you what it is so that we can kind of set the base for it, if that's okay.
Sure.
It's just a coloring book created with personal photos, with family photos. Very simple concept, but we think it has a unique properties, and we think it's evidence aligned, so that this one little activity of photos and coloring pages really resonates towards memory loss. That's why I'm talking to you today. So we really feel like it fits into the reminiscence end of memory loss, creative engagement, social connection, and cognitive stimulation. And we really did build it to be an activity and not to be a workbook. That's really an emphasis that I'd like to present. But Crayon Cards, as I said, 20 years ago we started. I had a business partner, Bill Bin. He had a family a little later in life than me, and he saw all the pictures from children from preschool and kindergarten coming in, and he started his family, and he said, "Look at all this artwork. We're in the printing business. Why don't we create memories here?" And it was, it's 2005, 2006, and phones with cameras on them were just getting started. And so we said, look, we can take a picture of this, and we're in the graphics business. We can turn this into an outline coloring page. So we actually registered crayoncards.com, and we looked at it, and it wasn't there for us business wise. It was too cumbersome. It wasn't the right time yet, so we kind of pushed it aside. And then tragically, Bill, in 2009, he received a cancer diagnosis and he passed in 2014. And it was devastating for me because he was my best friend besides my business partner. And it was very devastating. And for some reason, the Crayon Cards URL that we registered kept coming up, and I just kept renewing it. Not for any reason, more for memories, tell you the truth. And then my life changed. About 3 years ago, my mom passed away. My mom and my dad were still living in the original home, and my dad needed care. So I ended up moving in with my father for the last couple of years of his life. And so I got to experience dementia, memory loss firsthand. Didn't realize how powerful it was, and how devastating it was for my father. And he since has passed. And during that time when I had time with him, I could see the simple nature of the disease, where he lost all his short-term memory. His grandkids would come over and they'd come up running up to Grandpa, and first thing he'd get confused look on his face, and he said, I don't remember your name. And it was sad. And then he would emotionally get upset and distraught about it. And that was the hard part. The beautiful part for me was that I spent quality time with my father as his issues got stronger and worse. And I spent a lot of time at the dinner table, and it was amazing because I got to actually document so much because he remembered the past so well. And yet he struggled with day-to-day situations, started even forgetting his children's names besides his grandchildren's names. Yet he told me about all the old Italians and blah, 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 and he knew everything from the past. And so after he passed, when I was managing the photos and saw these beautiful portrait pictures that were in just drawers all over, started taking my phone and taking photographs of the pictures to digitize them. And hey, I'm in the printing business. Look, I can turn this into an outline, into a coloring book. And that was the resurrection of CrayonCards.com. I looked at it and said, what a wonderful gift this would be to my father if he could have had a book of his grandkids. Each page, a picture of his grandchild, their name, who his mom and dad is, all that type of thing. So we actually started out with a children's themed book, CrayonCards.com. And we've ended up with a book that we really feel fits best with dementia and Alzheimer's and memory care. And so we ended up building the book for this market. And the reason, so we built it like a storybook. If you go to CrayonCards.com and you create a cover, you get to create any cover you want. You open up the first page, and inside of the front cover is a dedication page. You can write anything you want about the book. The third page is a title page, just like a book. And then as you open up the book, that's where the magic happens. And the magic is that you drop a photograph of your choice on the left-hand side. The program then creates a coloring page on the right-hand side. We built it specifically on every page to have a text box at the top of the photo and a text box at the bottom of the photo so that you can put comments, you can put information, you can, it can be a memory or information about the photo besides having it be an activity on the right-hand side. And so we kind of built it so that it tells a story. And so the pages, one by one, you open up the next page and you have a photo with comments in the coloring page, photo, comments, coloring page, and you've built a story. And we hope that you build a story that helps the person remember the past. And so that's kind of where Crayon Cards was born. I kind of rushed through it. I apologize. But that's the story of how it came to market. And we're at the early stages. We're at a point where we want to learn more about how we can present this book to dementia and Alzheimer's and let people experience it, and let's hear their stories back, honestly. Okay.
Very cool. I love the piece of the reminiscing, because I think that's so powerful. And one of the things when you were mentioning about, you're opening drawers and there's these photos all over the place. And I remember with my folks, and like we didn't know who anybody was because we didn't have those conversations. And so I remember going through them and through them and through them and talking to my brothers, and they're like, "Well, you just sort through them." And then I ended up throwing a ton of them away because none of us knew who these people were, and there wasn't anyone else in the family that could tell us. And it was like, oh, how sad, because that would have been a cool conversation to be able to have in the earlier stages. My dad didn't have dementia. My dad ended up with brain cancer, but he probably would have known a lot of the names. And my mom probably would have, even up to her mid stages, known who so many people were. But, they probably inherited a ton of them too. And so that maybe they didn't. But I think we take that all for granted. I think I think so too. The ability for this to be an intergenerational piece is cool too, because depending on where somebody is at in the disease, they may or may not be able to color, but a family member could, which would be really neat for them as well. And coloring it's just skyrocketed, especially in adults, in terms of bringing that sense of calm. You see you see a ton of coloring pages out there, but they're not the type of product you have. They're floral and they're different designs and things like that. But people just talk about how much comfort it gives them in sitting in silence and being able to produce something. So I think this has that wrapped into it as well.
Thank you.
I think it's really.
Hi, everyone. If you've been injured in an accident that was not your fault, listen up. We have legal professionals standing by to answer your questions for free. Call now and find out if you have a case and how much it's potentially worth. Call 800-710-5100. I'm here with spokesman John Wolf. So, John, tell everyone listening who should call right now.
Well, Maria, first off, thank you for having me here. It's always nice to answer the listeners' questions. Now, as far as who should call in, anyone who's been injured in an accident and think you deserve compensation, give us a call right now. 800-710-5100. You'll find out if you have a case and how much it's potentially worth.
Thanks, John. You heard it, folks. Take advantage of this opportunity and call now. 800-710-5100.
Advertisement sponsored by Legal Help Center. May not be available in all states. Not available in California.
I appreciate that. Wasn't it special when you went to those old time photos, how portrait driven they were too? Everybody was all dressed up for pictures and they with the backgrounds and everything. I go, my goodness, we kind of lost that.
Yep. Well, and then you look at the phases. I just did one because my mom passed away February of 2014, and so on Mother's Day I did like a little blog post to her, and in that I took all these family pictures, and I was just roaring looking at our pictures. I mean, because there was one where everybody had a perm and we all looked like we put our finger in the socket, and it was just I mean the whole family except my mom and dad, all of us kids. I mean, we just looked like a train wreck, but we thought we were really in, with the stuff. And so it's kind of fun to be able to see that, or looking at like old pictures in the bathing suits that they thought were so scandalous are just about full coveralls now compared to what people wear today.
Oh my goodness. Very true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the
Yes.
I was out on your website and I saw pictures of I think there was one picture, and I don't know if this was your dad or someone else, but it was standing with two other guys by, I think it was a truck, and they were just kind of leaning
Oh
back,
yeah.
just being with friends. And I thought, oh, how cool is that? Then you had
Yeah.
wedding pictures, and I think there was a
Yeah.
fishing picture, and it was just a lot of things that make us who we are. And
Yeah.
and those special memories can bring such a calmness. And even if we are reminiscing with a loved one with dementia and the story is wrong, it's okay, because it's about calmness and entering their world, even if they don't get it
Yeah.
right, because we don't know all the time if it's right or not,
Right. Very true.
because
Yes.
so many
Very
of these
true.
things happened before us. So I think I know when I used to sit down with my mom, I ended up putting an album together, for her, just a picture book, kind of with the history
Uh-huh.
of important people and stuff. And she
Yeah.
always enjoyed that. But I think she would have really enjoyed to color,
Oh,
and
good. Yeah.
participate in that. I
Yeah.
think of I'm even just going to mention another way that the book could be used is
Sure.
when my daughter was, I want to say, maybe 4 or 5, and my mom
Uh-huh.
really wanted to watch her, and my husband and I were a little nervous, and we're like, okay, she's
Yeah.
not going to cook, we'll bring something for dinner, and they just kind of played together. And I'll
Yeah.
never forget walking into the house, and they're sitting at the dining room table, and they're both coloring pictures. And as I just walked into the door frame, they both just lit up, and they both held their papers up to show. And you couldn't tell who was prouder, my mom or my 5-year-old daughter,
Oh, wasn't that
with
wonderful?
their
Yeah.
project. And I just think, oh, you could make more than one of these books. So they're doing it together and
Right.
seeing,
Yeah.
how that's turning out too. So
Oh, that's a wonderful story.
yeah,
The story of my dad and my and his grandkids. I could see my dad if we built a book of his days in the army or something of that nature, and sit down with his grandchildren. He wouldn't do any coloring. He would tell them what to color and what colors to do, and then he would inspect what they're doing. That was his personality. But then, if one of his grandchildren said, "Grandpa, I didn't know you were a soldier," and then he would go into a story that would be so blown out of proportion. It would be wonderful, but it's a connection.
yep, it
And
is.
I felt like, honestly, why I'm just drawn to this space is because I think the photographs are memory cues. They're reminiscence therapy. They're all those buzzwords that you guys talk about: identity preservation. It brings them back to times that they knew and that they remember. And we have already talked a lot about reminiscence therapy, but that's what we really hope the book is. It's a shared activity. It's a connection, and we're excited to present it that way. Honestly, it can be a children's coloring book. It can be anything you want, but I've just been drawn to it to build memories of the past and to do a theme. Honestly, one of the things that I wanted to point out or ask, that if you're going to think about making a coloring book at crayoncards.com, think about the story that you want to tell, and pick the pictures out before. That way you have a theme for your book. It could be, the pets of my life or something of that nature, or besides weddings or vacations or family events or things of that nature. Just to give all kinds of different options, and it's an open palette. So you can create whatever you'd like.
Well, and I'm thinking to my folks, they had a lot of different circles of friends. It'd be cool to
Uh-huh.
make different books of, okay, this is the hockey group, here's the card club, here's friends from way back when you were in elementary school that you're still friends with now.
Yeah.
And then to even be able to share that with them when they came, because I think they would think that that's pretty neat, to be able to see. And
I
I
think
get,
those are great ideas. I
yeah,
love that.
and I can just hear the
Wonderful.
laughter of each group looking at that and going, "Oh, I remember that story," or "Do you remember?" I mean, and what's really fun as a child care partner, I remember hearing stories I never heard prior to my parents, my dad having brain cancer, my mom having dementia, and I think they didn't tell me because they didn't think it was kosher, like
Yeah.
my dad and my godmother, they went out to a bar or something, all the group, and they got into a chicken wing eating contest, my dad and my godmother, and I had never heard that story. And the
Oh my
laughter,
goodness.
and the fun that they had with that, and the stories that
Yeah.
rolled off of that. I mean, that was just a really, because I would never have pictured my dad or her doing that, not in a zillion years, so
Yeah.
sometimes you
Yeah.
get these little just miracle remnants that would be hidden away if there wasn't an
Yeah.
opportunity on how to get the backstory on them.
Right. Exactly.
So
Find those pictures and build those memories. Very
yeah.
true.
Yeah,
Yes.
we have
Yeah.
another loved one right now in memory care. In fact, I just bought her a little while ago adult coloring books, and
Oh. Mhm.
and coloring pencils and stuff. But she's not into that, but she might be into something like this, and in
Never
that,
know.
yeah. And so I think I'm gonna try that with her. She's struggling a little
Good.
bit because
Uh-huh.
she's lost her husband. She's had
Mm.
to move out of her house, which her son and her dog were there. So she's got a lot of loss going on,
Yeah. Gotcha.
trying to maneuver all of those things. But she likes reminiscing about the good time, give her comfort, or it might create more. But there's plenty of other pictures that we could utilize. But I might kind of just test that theory because, and again, every person
Yeah.
with dementia is a little bit different,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so it'll be interesting to see. How do you?
Wonderful.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, it's just wonderful listening to it. Yeah, your applications. I love it. That's what that's what it's built for,
Yep,
right? Right?
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. One of the things I wanted to ask you was about how people could use this differently from someone who's really early stages to later stages or mid stage.
Uh,
Have you guys given some thought to that?
yeah. Honestly, I think there is a place for it in all three, but I think it does change.
Hmm.
The early stages, really, when cognitive, they're still there and their motor skills are still there. I think it is more of a memory cue and a reminiscence and a coloring activity.
Hmm.
Um, and I think then the coloring activity may change when you get into those middle stages. When it was frustrating for my dad, honestly, frustrating because he can't remember things during the day and his grandkids' names and things of that nature. So it can be more of a calming effect, like you
Hmm.
had talked about, the coloring aspect of it and the reminiscence of the pictures. Where you get then when you get to the later stages, honestly, it's not going to be about coloring. It's about maybe revisiting the pictures, looking at them colored, um, and hopefully it's more of a way to reminisce and look back and relive those stories one more time. So I
Yes.
think there's a place for it all the way through, but I think it does change.
Hmm.
And I think that to have a themed book for different events and then have different books, different periods of time that you can revisit and look at would be kind of fun.
Yeah, it might even be really interesting for families to do. Let's say, I'll just use my mom as an example. So my mom's got dementia, and making a book about Lori, making a book about Mark, you know, things that were important to my parents. You know, my mom
Yeah,
with dementia, which might have been some birthday parties or Christmas or christenings, picking out some
yeah,
of those pictures that are just about me and, you know, mom and dad, just about my brothers and mom and dad or whatever,
yeah,
because that's something that would be meaningful for them to hold on to after the fact versus if they're all mixed together. Sometimes
yeah,
you can get families that want to fight over it or nobody wants it, you know.
yeah,
And
right.
because I'm even thinking now with my loved one who's in memory care, you know, she might not color, but my grandkids, you know, they have coloring stuff at her memory care place kind of stashed away so they have something to do when they're there. And so
Yeah,
that could
uh-huh.
be something that they do. And she just loves watching the joy. And my
Wonderful.
3-year-old granddaughter sometimes can get a marker or a pencil in her hand to do a little something
Yeah.
where we can't, you know. Come on, Grandma Weenie, come on, you know,
Yeah, right.
pick a color, you know,
Oh, no.
and then off they go. So
Hi, everyone. If you've been injured in an accident that was not your fault, listen up. We have legal professionals standing by to answer your questions for free. Call now and find out if you have a case and how much it's potentially worth. Call 800-710-5100. I'm here with spokesman John Wolf. So, John, tell everyone listening who should call right now.
Well, Maria, first off, thank you for having me here. It's always nice to answer the listeners' questions. Now, as far as who should call in, anyone who's been injured in an accident and think you deserve compensation, give us a call right now. 800-710-5100. You'll find out if you have a case and how much it's potentially worth.
Thanks, John. You heard it, folks. Take advantage of this opportunity and call now. 800-710-5100.
Advertisement sponsored by Legal Help Center. May not be available in all states. Not available in California.
Right. Oh,
you know,
that intergenerational connection is really what we're looking for, isn't
mhm.
it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Gives
and
them joy.
there could even be books about the grandkids. So if they're coloring
Yeah.
pictures of, because they would recognize themselves, and then they're the ones telling the story, you
Yes.
know, and remembering what
Yes.
color somebody wore, or no, I'm gonna make them be purple, even though they were wearing yellow. You know,
Yeah.
you'll hear those little things, but again, it's the conversation, it's the connections. It's not about
It
being
is.
perfect or right or wrong at all. But
Exactly.
but
And since we present the photo on one side and the coloring page on the other, you can either completely try and match the colors when you
mhm,
color, or you can go wild and completely change everything.
mhm. Yep,
Right? So it gives a little bit of creativity to the situation.
yep.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. Now, now with the pages, none of them like tear
Yeah.
out or are perforated or anything, you know, because I'm just thinking little kids like hanging stuff on the fridge,
They
and
do.
grandma and grandpas like doing that too. But I know that
Sure.
would make the cost of the book go up significantly as well.
Uh, Actually, it doesn't. We actually have two different types of books on our
Oh,
website. One we call the photo book, which is where you have the photo on one side and the coloring on the other. The second style of the book is actually called a painting book, just for that reason about taking pages out and using watercolors or markers or something of that nature. Because we don't put the photo on the left-hand side. We only do the drawing, the rendering on the right-hand side. And the reason for that is because if you use a marker or watercolors, there is a bleed through, and we didn't want to ruin the photo on the other page. And there are two different papers that are involved also. So the painting book has more texture to it. It's thicker, it's heavier, and it's supposed to absorb all the moisture better. And there is a little scissor down the bottom that you can cut it out. And we are thinking about putting a perforation there too on the painting book. Depends what people want, but it can be removed very easily out of the book.
Okay.
Okay, so there are two books when you go. We call them a painting book and we call it a photo book.
Okay.
And actually we called it a reminiscence book, and we thought it was too direct, so that's why we changed it just to a photo book.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
And actually, there is one other thing with the book that I'd like to point out. When you build the book and you take the photo and then it generates into a coloring page, sometimes you have two choices when that goes into that phase of making the book. It's called less detail or more detail. Less detail takes all the background away and just brings out the person or the people inside and leaves all the background off. Very good for portraits, beautiful for portraits. Makes the coloring and the photo more simple. And then if you say more detail, then it does bring in all of the background and it renders it and it draws it. And so when you bring a picture in to the page, if you don't like it, the way it turned out into a coloring page, don't worry. Just click on the coloring page and say replace. You can bring back the same photo, and then the next time you bring it in, say more detail and see if you like that rendering better. So some really nice options to kind of build the style that you want to, whether you want it simple or not.
That's a huge benefit, because I know even when I was looking for adult coloring books, and I went with my grandkids, I'm like, no, that's a little too detailed. It's a little bit too small. It's, and then they're like something like this, and it's like, well, that was almost a little too simple, and so, but it depends on where they're at. So it's nice to be able to have those options.
Good.
For sure.
That's great. And also, like you were talking about, sometimes if you have so many people in a picture, there's not much to color because there's just all these small little faces all over the place.
Yep.
Honestly. So you can actually enlarge the picture and take away the background and bring out the people more. And then it's easier to color. So there are some nice little adjustments that you can do. So click around and have some fun. It's supposed to be fun to make the coloring book.
Yeah. Well, that's neat. What type of benefits do you feel the care partners get out of creating this book for their loved one or their client with dementia?
Well, it really, I think the hardest part of memory loss isn't just the memory loss, how it impacts their identity, their communication, their well-being, and the relationships in the family. So I think as a caregiver, I think it helps bring the person back to a known thing in their past. It brings up conversation. It brings up ways to make life easier and not to worry about today, but to tell stories about yesterday. And so I think that's really how a caregiver can use it, as a calming, as a conversation piece, as an activity, a shared activity.
Yeah. Or, if they're independent in earlier stages, it could be a little respite too. You work on this and I'm going to go take a nap or throw in a load of laundry or whatever it might be, or run to the store, because that's reality too. And that's okay. And then they have something to show when they come back home. The other thing I'll mention is I have done a thing called with Mary Crescenzo out in California, thing called Dementia in the Arts. And one of the things that we have found, no matter what type of art somebody is doing, they always say when they're in the zone, it melts their symptoms away. So there really is this calming, and they feel happy that they're producing something, they're being productive. Because so often I think we pull tasks away because we can do it better, we can do it faster, or whatever our excuse might be. But that really is of squashing their dignity by not letting them participate. So it gives them that sense of control back. And like you said, choice of color, they're going to use markers. There's a lot of things to be able to choose from that
Right.
can really help create a sense of independence and pride, which is cool.
Wonderful. Great. Wonderful. I love it.
Well, and I liked, you had talked about the identity preservation piece,
Yeah.
and really getting them to connect with not just what is right now, but what was, and connecting the dots to those memories that were so important and can be relived and can be shared.
And be shared.
Yeah,
Correct.
with others.
Yeah.
And again, as care partners or visitors,
Right.
we have to not get too wrapped into, no, it didn't go like that, or Joe wasn't there, it was Harry, or that's
Right.
not what you want to do. And it reminds
Yeah.
me of a time my daughter went up to visit my mom, who was living in a community, and her boyfriend was really into cars, and so they started talking about cars. And then she comes home and they're all excited about this conversation they had with grandma. And I didn't know grandma had a pink Cadillac, and she had spinners and a sound system. And I'm like, first of all, there weren't spinners back in her day, and there weren't sound systems, and she never had a pink Cadillac. But my mom was an Avon lady back in the day, but she was jealous of the Mary
so
Kay
funny.
ladies in the pink Cadillac. And so she got a pink Cadillac back, by telling that story. And so it was just a fun way they could all, kind of play and like together and just enjoy
Right.
each other,
Oh, wonderful. That's a great story.
Yeah, it doesn't
Funny
always
how
have
they
to be right.
embellish.
Yeah, and how what didn't happen but always wanted to happen all of a sudden happened, and it's real in their world, and to see them so connected with that. And the piece of the reminiscing, there's just so many different ways to utilize this to reminisce at all ages and stages of the disease and of the relationships as well, which is very cool. Well, is there anything that we haven't covered? I know some people might want to know, if you're comfortable sharing, about like, what does this run?
Yeah, it starts at 7 pages, about $20.
Okay.
And then it goes up to 32 pages. And that goes from $20 to $32.
Okay.
And so we wanted to make it affordable because we do want you to create different books for different themes. And I'm in the printing business, so I can brag about it. You'll love the quality of the product because it's digitally printed, but it's printed with an offset quality. And a flat surface, so you don't get the glossy look of digital printing. It has an offset look, and it's a beautiful book.
Caring for someone with dementia is one of the toughest journeys, but you don't have to do it alone. I'm Allison Schreier, and my experience caring for my husband inspired me to create Zinnia, a therapeutic streaming service designed to support people living with dementia and reduce caregiver stress. Zinnia offers research-backed videos intentionally created for people with dementia, engaging, calming, and easy to follow. Whether you need to ease agitation, create moments of joy, or make daily routines smoother, Zinnia is here to help. Family and professional caregivers use our content to turn challenges into opportunities for connection. Accessible by subscription on mobile devices and connected TVs, Zinnia is simple to use whenever you need it. Because when caregiving feels easier, life feels better. Go to zinniatv.com and sign up for a free trial today. Use the code RESOURCE for 15% off an annual Zinnia subscription.
Okay.
One of the other things I did mention before, re-mention it again, is go into it, the aspect of making the book, and look at it as a theme. Pick out your pictures, pick out the wording that you want to do. It'll make it much easier to do it. And I know today's world, everything is done on your phone. The website does work very well on the phone, but I will tell you there are limitations on the phone that are not as good as doing it on a personal computer. So if you do it on a bigger screen, on a personal computer, there's a lot more features that you can use, and you can change covers, you can change photos and things. When you get on a phone, it's so hard to see everything. In our testing of the product, the people that made it on a phone didn't do a good job. The people that did it on a PC did a beautiful job.
Yeah.
Just
Well,
because you want to go through each picture and make sure it's what you want, and maybe enlarge the picture, enlarge the drawing. You can fill the spaces. Those are all things that are easier to do on a computer.
yeah, I know my kids, they do everything on the phone, and I'm like, let me get my butt in front of my computer. It's just easier for me, and I'm older. I'm 67 now, and so it's just easier for my eyes to maneuver and see what's what on a computer than it is on a small phone, and be able to maneuver things.
Yeah. Oh, and don't worry. If you're on your computer, there is a button that you access your phone.
Okay.
And the QR code comes up, and you go boom, 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 and all of a sudden your phone is talking to you and telling you which pictures you want to choose, and then they show up over on your computer.
Okay.
So good.
Oh, cool. Now, what's the turnover time when somebody places an order?
Yeah, so it's just 3 days for production plus shipping time. We are manufacturing on the West Coast.
Okay.
So, on the West Coast, it's only 1 to 2 days for delivery. But if we have to ship it all the way across the country, then we're using UPS. And UPS is going to take 5 days. So think of it as 2 weeks or less.
Okay.
For the delivery of the product.
Okay. Well, cool. This is just very exciting. I think it's a really neat product. Now, people can go to your website, which is I want to make sure I get it right. CrayonCards.com. Is that correct?
That is correct. CrayonCards.com. Correct.
Okay. And they can email either color@crayoncards.com or info@crayonscard.com. You're on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Where else? I'm trying to think. LinkedIn, Pinterest too, LinkedIn. So it's not that they can't find you. And then as far as if someone is having a problem, I know a lot of people like to be able to reach out and talk to somebody through the process. Or do you have like an AI thing, or would they get a real live person?
Well, you can use the phone number and you'll get a live person, but it will be during working hours.
Okay.
Otherwise, you will get a voicemail and we can get back to you. There is a chat window. And again, there would be an AI person that would help if it's non-work hours. Otherwise, a person will respond to you to help you out. And if you're having trouble and it's, middle at 10 o'clock at night, or you want to send a quick email or something, always just hit save. And then there at the top, there will be a pull down that says your project list. So you can always go back to it. And work on it. So you can save it, work on it, and come back until you figure out exactly how you want your book built.
Well, that's a really important thing, because there's nothing more frustrating than where did it go?
Yeah, right under project list.
Okay. Wonderful.
Wonderful.
Well, Joe, thank you so much for spending time with us. I'm really excited to let our audience know about this. I would really encourage people to, what I call be a giver of hope, like, click, and share. Let people in your sphere know about this, because this is something pretty unique, and could really be fabulous in terms of helping create calm and joy, and, bringing back old memories and making them new again.
Wonderful.
That's
Thank
powerful,
you. And have fun.
Stuff.
We want you to have fun.
Yes, exactly. And again, visit the website, and then also check out Alzheimer's Speaks. Again, we have all kinds of free educational resources. Same with our global resource directory, Dementia Map, can help you out there as well. But check out Crayon Cards. Thanks again, Joe.
Thank
Until
you.
next
Appreciate
time,
it.
everyone.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
It's time to rethink, renew, and reimagine retirement. Hey everybody, Jared Sebeste here, host of Retire Repurposed. Now this podcast is about the non-financial parts of retirement, which many times can be even more challenging than the financial. We believe retirement is not the end, rather the beginning of what could be the most impactful, purposeful, and fulfilling season of a person's life. So don't retire, become repurposed. To listen now, search Retire Repurposed on your favorite podcast platform, Senior Resource, or Life Audio.